guys, so I know I just filmed, actually I'm wearing the exact same thing that you saw in a video 2 days ago, but that's because I filmed them together. So I'm actually going to do a really short wedding vlog for you guys today. You guys didn't want to see the dress, so you guys won't get to see it. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about a little bit about programming. I'm not going to get fully into it for the reason is I'm having my first problem. So wedding problems arrive, and here is mine, is that we haven't found a ceremony site yet. There is a 6-month countdown to the wedding, and there is no ceremony site. The problem is that we're phoning churches, and they're telling us because we're not a part of their ministries, they won't let us use their church. And just other things like that, or if they let us, it's like a ridiculous amount of money. And so we're having a really hard time with that. So I'm leaving it in Zach's hands. He is doing a great job, but it is very, very stressful to not have that site because I can't even start my planning yet. So I will give you guys some tips on how you can do your planning. Sorry, my throat, I feel like I'm getting sick. I got my flu shot, which I've never gotten before, and I needed to get it, or else I could not do my medical, which I have on Monday, so I will do a video for you guys on that when I do my medical for the U.S. consulate. I have a few programs that I've printed out here, and I'm going to try to link them, if I remember the websites for them, on my blog. So check out the blog, and you will see template designs for timelines, which are really important. So I have one here, and so this one, it's laid out obviously horizontally. You have the time, the activity, the date, and responsibility. So who's responsible. You're going to need 3 different timelines, and the reason, or program guides or whatever you want to call them. You're going to need one for your DJ, one for your photographer, videographers, 2 separate ones if they're 2 different businesses, and third is for yourself and your wedding party. So everyone's going to have a responsibility, and you need to make sure that they know the responsibility ahead of time. My DJs and my videographers, because they're working at different venues, I'm going to make sure that they have each requirement that they need to have before they go into this. And this is why it's almost great to have an interior, not interior decorator, but a wedding planner, because this is their job, this is their prime time, and how they do this is like phenomenal. And the reason I can do this is because I've actually been trained on how to do event planning. So if you don't understand anything, don't be afraid to ask questions and let me know, because I'm going to go through this, but I might go through this fast because I've done this before. So I have 2 different types of schedules here, and both of them are actually going to be very, very different. And you're going to have that as well, but you're going to need 2 copies. And this is what a maid of honor's job is to be responsible of these copies. I don't really have a set maid of honor, but one of my girlfriends who also does some event design or has is in the industry, she's going to be a little bit more responsible of this because this is your day. You don't want to be responsible of it. I'm a little bit of a control freak, so it's going to be really hard for me not to be in charge of this. Okay, so let's get started with the actual timeline and what you should use. Actually, one second. Alright, sorry about that, guys. So for the first timeline that I have here, I got this off a website, and it's actually a pretty good run through. It has, right at the top, it has the coordinator, bride, groom, ceremony address, reception address, and all the information. And so this form here is great for giving to your bridal party. So you're going to have this so they know what's going on for everything, so each person gets a copy the day of, or even the day of rehearsal, and so they can see it over, like look it over and stuff, but have backups in case they forgot it at home. It does, so it has, let me show you here, so all the information at the top there, so if anyone needs to get in touch with everyone, it's easy to do. Your timeline, so, and this one already has it filled out, so it has photos, videos arrive, bridesmaids to be ready for photos, and then it says allow 15 minutes, so it gives you an allowance time of how much time it's actually going to take you to do these things. Bride to step into dress, and then it says tip, if you have corset style dress, allow 20 minutes for lacing, and then vice versa, whatever. stage first meeting, bride and groom look, an hour, and so this is all pretty much, this is a good photography one too. But this is good for your brides and groomsmaids to have so they know what pictures are being taken. You also need to have a list of what types of photos you want. So, oh, I want a photo of this, this is what I want, whatever. And that's the one you're going to be giving to your photographer. So your photographer's copy of this kind of thing is going to be, yes, it's going to be a timeline as well. And but instead of what you guys are doing, it's just what they're going to be doing. Because they don't care what you guys are doing. They don't care if you are having lunch at this time. On Nerd, you'd put break, but they don't care that you're eating tuna salad sandwiches or whatever at whatever time. They don't care. They just are there to do their job and make their money. You're going to write on here, I want this picture at this time, I want this picture at this time, this at this time, this at this time, creative time, any of your suggestions, and that's something that you got to talk to ahead of time with your photographer so they know. They don't want to come in being like, so let's do pictures, and you're like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, because that's gonna stress them out. They want to know exactly what pictures where, what time, who's doing what, whatever. Who's in the picture, what is the picture of, where is the picture, are 3 key things the photographer needs to know while doing your photography. Anytime that you take having to explain anything to them is money out of your pocket. Anything that they already know in advance, let them know everything on here. Time is money, and especially during a wedding, when you're handing out thousands of dollars already for your wedding, you don't want to waste any money trying to explain what you want to them when they should already know. And this is where a good professional photographer comes into play. So for your photographers, at the top you'd put the bride, the groom, the address for them. If they need the ceremony and the reception, then you put those both down. And coordinator is nice if you have a coordinator. If you don't, no worries. So this one's actually a really good layout for photographers as well. But this also works for the bridal party because they need to know what pictures they're in, when they're in pictures, and whatever. So that covers kind of the photography aspect. Doing the actual ceremony and who's doing what and everything else, because the ceremony is actually a huge part of the big program. This is why you have a big rehearsal for it. And during the rehearsal is when you talk about who does what and what goes on. Make sure notes are taken of all that stuff, and you print out a day of timeline. And this is where this one, the one I was showing you, works out perfect. So you write in the times, how long it's going to take you to get dressed, when photographers, oh my gosh, can't speak today, when the photography is going on. You're going to write down who's coming in first, what they're doing, who's bringing what, yada yada yada. Everything needs to go on. From the time, what's going on, what needs to be brought. Rings need to be brought, bows need to be brought, flowers, whatever else, and who is responsible for that. And everyone needs to know the responsibility a week in advance, so they know what they're getting into, a reminder the day of the rehearsal, and the actual plan to go ahead on the day of. So weddings, everyone thinks they're just fun and ready to go. They really actually don't get too fun until the reception part, because that's when you can kind of be a little bit more carefree. But if you want to be carefree throughout the whole thing, your job is to make sure everyone else knows their job. So that's why you have these big programs going on. So, and you need a copy of each of these programs. So if you give someone a program with whatever activities they are and whatever, my best, what I suggest doing is getting just one big thing of everyone's responsibilities and just highlighting it and giving them their highlighted section, so you have them all together and you don't have to try to go through billions and billions of paper. Like, you honestly, for the day of, only need 3. You need the photographers, the DJs, and yourself if you are not the coordinator, because you are your own coordinator at this point. As for the DJ, your DJ needs a layout of songs. So mine is actually on the computer, and with my system, with my DJ, is we pick up the songs for each of the games or whatever we're doing. First dance, mother-daughter dance, mother-son dance, father-daughter dance, and any other things that we do. Have a song, how long that song is going to be, and then how much time we have for dancing, for dinner, and everything else. So the reception also needs a timeline, but it's not as strict per se, because you won't be doing as much. It's all on the DJ. So you need to have a layout very similar to the photographers. coordinator, bridegroom, whatever, da da da, here. And it's also nice, our MC slash DJ was phenomenal and wanted to know in advance who everybody was. And so I was like, that's awesome. So he knows who people are and who to go to. So we give him all that information, not a problem. And it makes it a little easier on him so he knows who to talk to. Because during the wedding, I don't want them talking to me. They can talk to my mom, or they can talk to my dad's girlfriend, Laura, or they can talk to one of my bridesmaids. That's it. That's all they're getting. I am not available to speak to because I'm going to enjoy my day. So those people need to know what their role is if the DJ has any questions. And everyone just needs to be informed, and that's why communication is so huge. And this pieces of papers represent communication. And that's the whole point about programming an event, is to make sure you have everything planned. And it doesn't have to be planned to the minute. I mean, you can have a little bit of free time and leeway and stuff, and make sure accidents do happen. You have to be ready for someone to have a screw up or something to fall behind time. Maybe flowers don't arrive when they're supposed to arrive, or a bridesmaid's running late, or maybe there's traffic between the ceremony and the reception. And these are things that you have to be a little bit flexible with, and maybe you got to be willing to cut some things out and stuff like that. And so it's really good to have professionals in the areas that you need professionals, and it's really good to have a good base plan. So I think that is it on programming. I will link these in my blog, so if you guys want to take a look at them, you're more than welcome to. As for actual photographs and what type of photos you want to take, that is so up to you. If you see a photograph in a magazine and you love it, rip that photo out and let your photographer know, I want this photograph, I want it to look like this. And hopefully they have the creative integrity to kind of make that happen for you. So yeah, any questions down below? Let me know what you guys think, and if you have any any program tips or anything, leave them down below as well. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye!